Vietnam is now letting foreigners into the country with a valid visa or temporary resident card without needing special approval from the government. Hi, I'm Alex from ninjateacher.com, and in this video we're going to be talking about this big update as well as who is affected by this. On the 18th of January, the government released Dispatch 450, which, along with the later confirmation by the Vietnamese immigration department, has been signed and red stamped, which means it is official. And this update says that those with valid visas, temporary resident cards or TRCs, and those with visa exemptions are allowed to fly into Vietnam with only that document, and they don't need the special government approval that was previously required. And this has taken effect immediately. So what does this mean? Well, those who currently have a visa or a temporary resident card no longer need to get special approval as an essential foreign worker to get into the country, and this involved getting approval from the local People's Committee as well as a special invitation letter from immigration. And the only groups of people that can get the special permission are investors, experts, and managers for a local company, and they have to get special sponsorship from that company and then approval from the different levels of ministry and government. So from what we've seen, this is already in effect. Airlines have updated their websites. Different airlines are currently flying to Vietnam regularly now, and I've seen some people that have already got in with only having a TRC and not special approval. So if you have a TRC or a visa exemption and are fully vaccinated, you can fly to Vietnam right now on a regular flight and just self-isolate for 3 days, and then you're back in Vietnam. So let's talk about who this does and who this doesn't affect. So most importantly, this is only valid for people who currently have a temporary resident card or visa exemption. So this applies to a few different groups of people: spouses of Vietnamese citizens who have a TRC or visa exemption, foreigners who are employed by a local company in Vietnam, or investors who are part of a company. You can't just be arriving as an investor wanting to invest. You have to be already investing in a company to get that special approval. I don't know the exact numbers, but I know there are a lot of people with TRCs who have been trying to get back into the country for 2 years, and maybe they are separated from their families here, or they're trying to get back to their jobs, but they haven't been able to get the special approval to get back in. For example, myself as a director of a Vietnamese company, I have a TRC, but if I had left Vietnam, I wouldn't have been able to get back in unless I got that special approval as an essential worker. And there's no guarantees I would have been able to get it or that anyone else will be able to get it. Some of our English teacher alumni who are even employed in Vietnam currently, but they just couldn't get the approval to get back in. So this is a really big update for a lot of people, and I'm really happy for all the people that now can get back to Vietnam that have temporary resident cards. So what if you don't have a TRC and you're trying to get to Vietnam to work, teach English, or just to travel? Well, this doesn't immediately help these people yet, because you do need to currently have a TRC or visa exemption. So things are remaining the same for now. For those that don't yet have a visa, new visas aren't being issued except for in special cases, and right now there are only 2 ways to get into the country. The first is what I explained previously, with special approval from the government at different levels. You have to be sponsored by a company, you have to get that approval, and there's no guarantee. And as I've discussed before, especially with teaching English, not many companies hire teachers from abroad, especially if you're a new teacher anyway. And now that they have to get some special approval to get you in as an expert, it makes it even more difficult. So very few schools are doing this right now, unfortunately. And the second way is the closed package tours, which allow you to come to Vietnam for a 7-day or 14-day, I think the maximum is a 30-day tour, but it has to be fully booked beforehand through a special agent. They're extremely expensive, like $5,000 for one of these tours, and you have to leave the country afterwards. There's no way you can actually stay. They are quite strict about this, except if you are visiting local family, then you can get special approval after the tour. So you still have to sign up for the tour to extend your visa and go visit your family, and that's only if they can get special approval in their district, in their city, to invite you as a relative. So just to give you some context, because there have been so many news articles that are saying things like, now that Vietnam is letting foreign tourists back into the country, but so far there have only been 8,000 tourists since November, which is just hardly any at all. This is just basically tour groups that are going to 5-star resorts to do these expensive package tours and immediately leaving, or some trying to return to see family have been using this method and essentially are just booking this package tour just so that they can come and see family. So these package tours are definitely not a restart of tourism in Vietnam just yet. They're this kind of trial thing really, and I think everyone is realizing right now that it's not the way to go. The general feeling amongst people talking about it is there are going to be some updates about this after Tet, the Lunar New Year here in Vietnam, which is coming up soon at the end of January and early February. And that is usually when the government makes a lot of big policy changes, so they'll be making big announcements after that. Because there are regular flights now, there's only 3 days of isolation. You don't have to go to the expensive hotel quarantines anymore. Centralized isolation for like 7 to 14 days, which costs a couple $1,000s. That's done away with now. So it's just home isolation, which you can do at a cheap hotel in Vietnam. So the only thing that you really need right now, if you're wanting to get to Vietnam, is for Vietnam to start issuing visas again, which is what we've all been waiting for like 2 years now. So while borders are not yet open, this is a positive step in the right direction towards the inevitable reopening of the borders in Vietnam. And with Vietnam's plan to get 5 million tourists in 2022, I think we're going to see some more positive updates after the Lunar New Year. And we look forward to that so we can start helping those who've taken our online TEFL course get to Vietnam, as well as run our in-person TEFL training courses and programs in Vietnam again. So I'll keep you updated with more news regarding this, as well as videos about life in Vietnam. Subscribe to the channel, stay tuned for more videos, and I'll speak to you soon. Peace.